because what unfolded that night wasn't just a controversial match, it was a full-blown meltdown that exposed cracks in the system, personal demons behind the mask, and a clash of power behind the scenes so explosive it could have blown darts apart. It was late 2022, the World Series of Darts Finals in Amsterdam. A supposedly routine event, a stepping stone for the Iceman. Gerwyn Price arrived in peak physical form, lean, focused, a man obsessed with regaining dominance. But what happened during that tournament, and especially in one fateful backstage moment, nearly pushed him to the brink of walking away for good? Let's rewind. By this point, Price had already become one of the most divisive figures in darts. World champion in 2021, booed in every arena since. To some, he was the villain they loved to hate. To others, he was the ultimate competitor, a rugby player turned darting icon who brought athleticism and energy to the hockey. But even his thick skin had limits. The Amsterdam crowd was merciless. Every throw was met with jeers. Some fans even coordinated chants that included personal digs about his family and his past as a rugby enforcer. Cameras caught him glaring at the crowd, shaking his head. At one point, Price stepped back from the hockey entirely, composed himself, then fired off a 180 as if to say, "You want a show? I'll give you one." But backstage, that's where it fell apart. Multiple sources, including one former PDC official speaking anonymously, claim Price had an explosive argument with a senior tournament organiser. The cause? A denied request to delay his match due to an escalating safety concern. According to The Insider, Price believed a group of fans near the stage were deliberately trying to provoke him and allegedly raised the issue with security. His request to move them or delay the match was rejected. What followed was a furious row behind the curtains. Price, already on edge, reportedly slammed a table, tossed a practice dart across the room and threatened to walk out of the tournament entirely. The cameras never caught this. The commentators never mentioned it. But that night, Gerwyn Price was reportedly within minutes of quitting the sport. A fellow player, who also wished to remain anonymous, later said he was done. He told me, "This sport's a joke. They don't protect us. They want me to be the villain, but they won't let me be human." That stuck with me. Things didn't get better after that night. A week later, cryptic posts appeared on Price's Instagram, quotes about betrayal, mental fatigue, and finding peace in chaos. Then came the bombshell. Price withdrew from 2 upcoming PDC events without explanation. Fans speculated burnout. Insiders whispered about a medical scare, but others claimed there was more, something contractual. Rumour has it that after the Amsterdam incident, Price's team privately approached the PDC about mental health protections and structural changes to how crowd behaviour is handled. The PDC's response? Reportedly, silence. That's when, according to Darts Insiders, Gerwyn Price considered the unthinkable, a breakaway tour. Some say he was in early talks with international promoters to create a high-stakes, invite-only darts series that would pay top players directly and cut out the PDC middlemen. Others dismiss this as fantasy, but given Price's status and following, it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. Around this time, broadcasters also began to shift their tone. One UK commentator, once a vocal Price supporter, began noticeably avoiding his name on air. Fans noticed. Social media lit up. Was Price being quietly blacklisted? It wasn't until early 2023 that Price reappeared. But when he did, it wasn't with fire. It was with ice. He showed up to a televised tournament wearing industrial-grade noise-cancelling headphones, a clear message to the crowd and the PDC. Protect me or I'll protect myself. The backlash was instant. Pundits mocked him. Old-school players called it disrespectful. But Price stood firm. In interviews, he was blunt. "I've had enough. I'm not going to let the crowd ruin my focus. If they won't be quiet, I'll shut them out." And that's when everything changed. Sponsors took note. Some saw it as innovation, others feared it was becoming a circus. One deal with a major sports apparel brand was allegedly pulled after the headphone stunt. Another was renegotiated to reduce his appearance commitments. In private, some executives at Sky Sports were said to be deeply frustrated by the unpredictability of their star. The relationship between Gerwyn Price and the PDC grew frostier. According to a leaked memo that circulated among industry insiders, Price's team had formally lodged multiple complaints about tournament environments, fan abuse, and the lack of psychological support for top players. What's more shocking? Insiders claim the PDC responded by warning Price about unprofessional conduct, a not-so-subtle shot across the bow. At one point in mid-2023, whispers emerged of an unofficial fine being issued, not public, not confirmed, but allegedly, for actions bringing the game into disrepute. If true, it would confirm suspicions that the PDC uses silent penalties to control dissent. Price didn't comment, but his form suffered. He dropped key matches, seemed distracted. In one tournament, he stormed off stage mid-interview, muttering about games being rigged by pressure. But then, like only Price can, he flipped the narrative. Late 2023, Grand Slam of darts. Price walked on stage to deafening boos. He looked out into the crowd, smiled, and hit back-to-back 180s. His defiance became his brand. He leaned into the villain role, but on his terms. Behind the scenes, however, the tension remained. Sources say Price and his team have pushed for contractual changes for 2025, more control over match timings, increased security around hostile venues, and even a request for rotating referees after alleging bias from one official. None of this has been confirmed. The PDC has declined all comment, but here's the bottom line. The night in Amsterdam didn't just rattle Gerwyn Price, it changed him. It may have been the closest he ever came to walking away from darts entirely, and if something like it happens again, if the PDC doesn't listen, if fans keep crossing the line, if silent punishments continue, he just might. Gerwyn Price isn't done, but he's watching, waiting, and if the Iceman ever melts down again this time, he might not come back. So now you know the story the cameras didn't show. The fight that almost ended a career. The night darts nearly lost its most polarizing star. Smash that like button if you want more behind-the-scenes darts drama. Drop a comment should the PDC do more to protect its players. And don't forget to subscribe. Because in darts, what happens off stage might be even crazier than what happens on it.